Peace and Black Power family. It's Brother Ajay Taimba from Harlem Liberation School, where we teach black people three very important things: to wake up, to clean up, and to stand up. Wake up meaning we become conscious and mindful. We know who we are, our history and lineage, our culture, right? Clean up meaning we're self-corrective. We don't just we're not satisfied with blaming white folk and white supremacy for all the wrong they've done. We understand that as we do that, we have to change ourselves. That's the cleanup. And the stand-up meaning we organize, we build, we protect, we study, we do the work of a people who want to be liberated, who want to live and exist in a sovereign nation, right? Well, family, tonight we are supposed to be graced with the presence of a brother named Jeff Moore, who is known in financial circles as Jeff the Wealth Builder. I spoke with him earlier. I VMA'd him and texted him, and I have not got a response, so he's not here. So I'm going to go on the presumption that he will not be here because I can't wait indefinitely for someone, especially if they haven't contacted me, to tell me that they're going to be late or won't be here. So in the meantime, we're going to talk. I'm going to give it probably until 8:30. At 8:30, I'm going to end the show. I think he's coming in now, so we should wait to see what's going on with our brother. In the meantime, I just want to say very briefly, there are many people of the socialist, communist sort of political ilk that say it doesn't matter how much disposable income we have, that capitalism is oppressive, and it doesn't matter how much we save and this and that. And I want to say I categorically reject that. I'm critical of capitalism in certain respects, and yet we live in the United States of America in the 21st century, where we need medicine and we need food and we need clothing and housing. So whatever we think about how capitalism, how selfish it could be, how it can disconnect you from a certain form of being humane in some respects, how it can be very overly materialistic, absolutely true. However, we need money. There's no way around that. And we need to know how to wisely save it and manage it and invest it, so that maybe we get to a point where our money's working for us and we're not just working for the money. So in that vein, we had my old college buddy Carl Agard on maybe 2 weeks ago, telling us about some real estate and different things. And today we have a brother that he actually referred me to, a brother named Jeff Moore, known by the nickname of Jeff the Wealth Builder. We're going to bring him in, family. I'm going to say in advance, please have questions ready to go, because we don't want to miss the opportunity. In case we aren't able to bring him back, you want to make sure you ask very key questions. So let me add my brother on. Brother Jeff, how you doing, man?
Man, I am doing fantastic. I was having some challenges connecting. I'm currently away in Atlanta, Georgia right now, doing some work. And
okay.
This hotel internet would not let me get on.
Wow. That's crazy.
Minutes, but it's all good right now. I'm happy to be here with you guys tonight.
I'm glad that you made some time for us. Family, we're going to be no more than an hour. So remember, it's going to go by quickly. All right? And don't be talking about, I had a question and you didn't ask it. Brother Jeff, are you going to do more of a presentation style, or are we going to do more of an interview? I ask you some questions.
Let's just have a talk. You can ask
yes,
some questions,
sir.
But I really want to be here as a vehicle of providing some much needed information / education, because I'm a firm believer that when you understand what's going on, you'll know what to do. So I'm basically here just to be to provide a vehicle of wealth building that many have been taken advantage of over the past 100 years. It's not a new concept. It's a new concept in our communities, the Black and brown communities. And I just want to shine a light on it and get more information out on it, because more people, if they understood how powerful of a product that we have access to, they would want to participate in it more. So I want to be here to answer some questions, give some information, provide some value to you and your community. So let's go. We can answer some questions.
That's what's
I
up.
really didn't put together a big presentation tonight, and that was by choice because I wanted to have as the old folks would say, a little heart to heart, and just and put some things in place. You mentioned about capitalism and the need for having money. And what happens if you had to develop and learn about a system where there is always money in the family? How would your life be so radically different? So one of the things I want to do here is say, this is the reason that we are here, to put some information out there to change lives so the future lives can be radically different, so that there's money available at each stage of the life to take advantage of opportunities, to have money to be in a position to grow guaranteed, and to be in a position to close the wealth gap here in America, as well as transferring money to the future. So future kids and future kids can be able to participate in the work that you're doing today.
And Jeff, first, I want to thank you for being here. If you don't mind, could you tell people because you know how our community is, brother. They want to taste it. They want to feel. They want to. What's this brother about? What did he do? Why should we take him seriously? And could you just share with the community how you got into this? Because your story I found was very interesting. How you
Well,
actually got into it.
I got into this by accident. First and foremost, let me just start and say I got into this by accident. I have a whole life mapped out. Okay. I just received my master's degree from Penn State University. So any Penn Staters out there, a big we are. And I was waiting to I graduated in December, and I was waiting to start becoming a teacher. Um, as a kid, I played chess. I traveled around the whole world, United States, and been to several different countries playing chess. And my whole idea was I was going to come back and be a elementary school teacher, and I was going to teach my kids how to play chess. And that was going to be the thing that I had all of these aspirations of doing when I graduated from Penn State in 1996 with my master's degree plus 30 credits. And it's funny because I haven't used my master's degree and my plus 30 credits to this day. But what happened was, as I was waiting to teach in Philadelphia, I had preliminary conversations and found out that the salary was going to be $29,900. It was going to be fixed for 3 years. So I was in a quagmire of wanting to teach kids and have a chess program, but still battling like, how am I going to live and pay my student loan bills, being the youngest of 8 kids and the first one to graduate from college. So I took a job at a mortgage company to try to make some money, to make as much money as I possibly could before the school was going to start that following term. And during that time, I was working at a company called PHH as a loan originator. And I was working a lot of hours and I was making a lot of money. And I came home, and one of my friends from college called me, and, we decided to get together and catch up. So, he came over to my house, and, I asked him, I said, so what are you doing these days? Because I was looking for some ways of making some extra money because I was preparing to become poor as a teacher. Just a side note, it's still a shame, the awesome responsibility that teachers have, and the pay still to this day is not really all that great for all of the hard work and sacrifice that they do. So I want to give a shout out to all the teachers for all the work that they're doing, educating and raising these kids in these schools, because I know it's a tough job. But Troy came over, and he told me that he showed me this presentation. It was a 4-column presentation, and he told me that this is the way that you could put money into it, and the money can grow guaranteed for the rest of your life, and you don't have to pay taxes on this money while it was growing. And I was like, you do this for a living? And he was like, yeah, why you look at me like that and say that? I said, man, this is easy. He said, if it's so easy, then why don't you come and join me? And because you saying it's so easy. So I decided to jump into this business. I've got my insurance license and got my investment license, and that was 26 years ago. So that's how I got into this business. I'm here by accident, but more importantly, I'm here with passion because I had a mother who had an insurance contract, and I used to remember how the man used to come by on the 15th day of each month, and she would give him $50, and he would write those $50 in the book, and then by clockwork, this happened every single month. And I remember as a kid growing up poor, but having my mother and father sacrifice so many times for the having that $50. And it was months that we didn't have heat, we didn't have hot water, we didn't have food, but somehow, some way, my parents, mainly my mother, made sure that my dad had that $50 each month to make sure that the insurance man got paid his money. And I asked my mom, well, what is this thing that you're doing? And she's like, we're building, as it was explained to her, she was building some reserves in an insurance contract that will provide funds if she passed away, if my dad passed away, or if any of the kids passed away. And one of the things that first thing that I did when I got into the business is I read that policy, and that a policy that Metropolitan Life, also known as MetLife, had written these policies a lot on poor Americans. And my mother and father happened to have one of those policies, which they were later sued because those policies was worth no money that was in those plans as it was explained to them. So that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And that where a lot of my passion comes from now is to make sure that the people have the right information when they're utilizing these strategies, because a lot of us have been I'm not going to say scam, but they was given the wrong information as opposed to how these policies are designed to work when they're working the right way. And one of the things I also want to note is that the type of plans and policies, as far as a life insurance contract that I'm talking about, many Black and brown Americans were not afforded the kind of policies until about 30, 40, 50 years ago. So this is a new phenomenon in our communities, and it's a new way that we're learning to build wealth with these kinds of policies.
Thank you for that, brother Jeff. Now let's get to nitty gritty. If anybody watching, if they're like me,
okay,
they're probably saying, "I know about life insurance. That's what you pay, and you die, and then we all get a big fat check for all that the payments you've been making over all these years. If you're younger, the payment is smaller per month. If you're older, it's more. Da 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 da." And so most of us have that kind of limited idea of what life insurance is. I want to make sure my kids have money when I go, type of thing. Is that accurate? And if not, could you tell us what we're missing?
That's a half truth. One of the things that does, you're right, it does provide money and things of that nature in case you die. But one of the biggest myths that I want to dispel tonight, that there is a reason why they call it life insurance. It is not something that you have to wait to die to utilize the benefits. Because if it was a death product, it would not be called life insurance. It would be called death insurance. So there's a reason why it's called life insurance. And some of the benefits of what life insurance is, and one of the things I like to focus on what it does, it allows you to build money that you have access to for the rest of your life. One of the benefits is that it provides a death benefit to whoever you name, but that's a benefit. That's not what it is designed to do. It is designed to be a vehicle, when used properly, when structured properly, will provide guaranteed growth. It will provide an opportunity that you can have funds that will grow tax deferred for the rest of your life. And that tax deferred means that while that money is compounding, while that dollar is on top of a dollar and top of a dollar on top of a dollar over time, it grows without interruption. No interruption for taxes, no interruption through fees. It is a pile of money that when you get it early will compound for the rest of your life. When you get it late will compound for the rest of your life. And one of the things that many people in our communities don't pay enough attention to is taxes. Taxes are going to be your biggest expense for the rest of your life. So it is imperative that you start looking at vehicles that will provide you some tax-free protection. And life insurance is one of the biggest and one of the best and one of the oldest tools that many of the rich and the affluent have been utilizing for the past 100 years in creating and putting money aside that will never be taxed. Okay, so that's one of the primary reasons why a lot of people, a lot of my clients, and a lot of rich people, when you read the books, when you talk about what would the Rockefeller do, when you read all of these sophisticated things that rich people have been doing and utilizing life insurance, it was the primary reason why they wanted to have money that was going to grow for the rest of their lives that they never had to pay taxes on, and more importantly, that they had access to that money that they can use at any time for any reason. So a lot of them have set these policies up as a kind of a banking system because it provided a storehouse of money that they can have access to buy assets.
First of all, thank you for that. You cleared up a lot. So it sounds like, based on what you're saying, every black person should have some life insurance. Would you say that's accurate?
I would say every black person should have some life insurance as much as they can afford. I
Okay.
think that it should be one of the primary vehicles that they should be storing their money, saving their money into, that they will have access to money to go buy assets. Like you said, you had your brother call here that was here a couple of weeks ago talking about buying real estate. So what happens if you would have been building money in a pot over a number of years, that when a real estate opportunity came your way, you didn't have to go run to the banks. You didn't have to go run to the banks and say, "Oh, what's my credit score? Or why do I got to fill out this little application? And what's my debt to income ratios? And what's my mandatory repayment schedule?" You bypass all of that if you created I like to call it a money supply system that you can tap into to go and buy some of those assets when they go on sale. A lot of times with a lot of my clients, we use strategies where we eliminate some of the financial institutions, especially in real estate. In regards to a lot of times with investors, they have to go and get hard money loans to do their projects, and they have to be under strict terms, and they have to do meet certain requirements and have the project refinanced and rehab, and have the money paid back within a year. And a lot of times that put a lot of pressure on that real estate developer. So a lot of times we utilize these plans to eliminate that pressure and free up some cash and free up some opportunities so that they can go and maximize their profits.
Okay. Wow. It's really interesting. Now, I'm assuming that because I know there's different types of insurance. I assume that there's a specific type that a person would use to create, quote unquote, a personal or family bank. Could you
So let me
tell
back
it?
up for a minute. Let me back up for a minute. So you have basically three types of insurance. You have term life insurance, and term life insurance is basically like renting an apartment. That money provides no cash whatsoever. So term insurance is a very important component of life insurance, and oftentimes it is utilized in strategies to make sure that you can maximize insurance. It is a great place to start in owning insurance, but it is a terrible strategy to have for the rest of your life because it does not build any cash in those policies. So we're not talking specifically about a term as a standalone product when we're talking about banking. Then you have another product, which is called Universal Life, Index Universal Life, and Variable Universal Life. And to use a real estate analogy, that's like owning a trailer home. And you own the home that it sits in on a trailer home, but you always have to rent the land that it sits on. So there's some potential pitfalls and some disadvantages of those kind of products. While we don't like to use them as banking, but those are policies that will can also build a cash component in them. And then you have whole life, and whole life is like building a house. And we like to use whole life in these kind of strategies, especially with banking, because whole life is the only product that you can actually own the plan. It is the only plan that you can actually have complete and total ownership of the plan. And what we like about it is that you partner with whole life insurance with the life insurance companies. And life insurance companies are the masters of protecting your money. They are the only industry that has a track record of never losing money. Okay, so
Hmm.
I know a lot of people right now are going crazy over stocks with Nvidia, and they're going crazy that different stocks are splitting, like Chipotle and different things. And stocks are a great thing to have in your portfolio, but life insurance companies are the only companies that have consistently for the past 100+ years made money. And the companies that we're referring to, the mutual companies, which are the participating companies, which means they pay dividends, have been in position to earn money for their policyholders for decades. So we like to partner with those kind of companies because those kind of companies have a demonstrated track record, a demonstrated history of performance, and a demonstrated history of partnership. So that's the key things. I see Brenda says, what kind of policies should you get and what is the minimum amount? What I like to say is you look through your budget and you make sure you're saving money before you're spending money. And after you scrub everything that you're going through, you identify what that maximum amount is that you can put into a permanent plan. Because one thing's for certain is that it is going to provide you with some coverage, and two things for sure, it's going to give you a cash account that's going to grow uninterrupted for the rest of your life. So that's what I would tell you, to look and see what those figures are. And it really doesn't matter how old you are. It just matters that you get started. And the sooner that you get started, the better off that the compound interest is going to work for you. The later that you get started, you might have to put more money into it, but it will be still be structured that you can never lose money in a life insurance contract when it's structured the proper way.
Now I know Brenda. That's my lovely wife, by the way. She says hello
Okay,
and thanks for coming on the show.
no
Um,
problem.
she did ask, is there a minimum amount or no?
I would say no.
Okay.
There are some um, uh, uh, minimum amounts for getting, um, I would say minimum amounts for banking. Yes. If you're going to, because banking, setting up your policy for a bank is a strategy. Okay. That is not like a policy, that's a strategy. And when you set up a bank using life insurance as your personal bank, that is a strategy where you are funding money into an insurance contract because of the benefits that the life insurance company provide, which is a guaranteed opportunity for your cash to grow forever as long as you're paying your premiums. And you're going to utilize that cash that's growing in your premium in your plan as leverage to go and buy an asset. An asset is a stock. An asset is real estate. An asset is making an investment in you. An asset is starting your own business where you are putting money aside with the anticipation that the returns that you are investing is going to be greater than the interest that you're paying. That's a banking strategy. So there are minimum amounts that we suggest that you should start to look at when you are utilizing that strategy. And that amount will determine, particularly on your age and your particular strategy, or how much money you would like to build in that side account that you can have opportunities to go and buy assets. I want to stress that when you're using life insurance as a personal bank, the strategy behind that is to build a money pot, a money supply, a money system that you can go and buy assets that's going to produce passive income. That's the strategy.
So I assume, Jeff, I hear you keep you hammering home. It's for assets. In other words, it sounds like you're implying we're not doing this to go out and get fur coats and flat screen TVs and stuff like that. We're doing stuff that's going to
That's not
make
an asset.
generate income.
Yes, generate income and things that are going to appreciate and not depreciate. So that's where it starts in our mindset. We got to get the right mindset for wealth building. Putting your money in assets that's going to grow, putting your money in vehicles with the potential of it growing, not putting your money into something that's going to make you look good and feel good temporarily.
So that those watching, that includes a lot of things that some of you are doing watching this. Going to school, I would think it is an asset, right? Is that right, Jeff?
That's definitely an asset because that's an investment in you. Because you went to school and you made that investment in you, you got a greater opportunity to make more money. And more importantly, you got an opportunity to make more relationships. And the relationships is the key thing that you would want to develop while you're going to school. A lot of people miss that component. They just go to school to get an education, but you're supposed to go to school to build some relationships as well, because relationships is the best currency that money can buy.
And starting a business, pouring that money into business, that would be another good example, right?
Another good example.
Okay.
Going to buy some real estate. Another great example. Going to go buy stock. I got clients right now using their cash value and their life insurance to go buy some of that Nvidia stock that just split. They're going to go use that money to go buy that Chipotle stock that just split. Those are some of the things that they're using to build their asset portfolio. Not saying that that's what you have to do, but you just got to fall into the categories of where asset appreciation is. We have some of our clients that are doing peer-to-peer lending. So instead of them going to they're stepping in the place of the bank, and they're providing more favorable rates and more favorable terms than the banks are, because they built the money supply that they have access to that they can leverage. So it's a lot of different things that you can do with the cash value in your life insurance, because it is a strategy that we utilize to build wealth. So that's why my shirt that I'm wearing right here and the hat that I'm wearing is, we say we're cash value wealth builders, because we leverage the cash value in our life insurance contracts to go and buy assets that produce passive income. So that's what the name of the game, and that's the new strategy that we're pushing in our communities, because our communities don't own nothing collectively. So we want to do some things that interrupts the thinking and change the narrative on things, and how we can use to build, have non-traditional ways of building wealth. And a life insurance is very a non-traditional way that you can utilize in a strategy to build wealth for you and your family.
You know, as a historian, and I think when we talked, you said you were into history as well. I think you're going to teach history, right?
I,
I think it's interesting that you said that this type of policy was around for 100 years. Other ethnic groups were using it, getting rich, and taking care of their kids, and it wasn't available to us until you said, what, 30, 40, 50 years ago? Is that correct?
that's accurate.
So now that it is available, do
You
you
gotta take advantage of
foresee
it.
there being a time where they end that type of policy, or what do you think about that? Like, is it like we better get in now because one day it may not be here type of deal, or
I'll just leave it like this: we live in America,
hello?
and um, my mama used to always say, "It's two sets of rules when you're black. It's the black rules, and then it's the rules for everybody else." So it's unfortunate, and I think my personal opinion is that black folks have been catching hell in America for so long is that because we don't have a financial partner. And I think that once you understand how America works, and America is built off the almighty dollar, and America is built on a circulation of that dollar, when you get a financial partner, our situations can change. Because there has been demonstrated history where we shop black and we did everything black and we kept all the dollars in our communities, and we saw some of the things that happened to us. We understood the trials and tribulations that we had to live through with Black Wall Street and with Tulsa, and that happened in a plethora of communities across the country where land was stolen. I mean, even in New York City in Central Park, there was historical times where black folks had a sums of a lot of money and wealth back in those days that was taken from them. So that is not a big secret. I think that one of the things when you look back at history and looking back how America is structured, I think black folks have been missing out on having a designated financial partner that will look after our interests for us or partner in our interests as we are building our wealth, as we are keeping our money supply and keeping control of our money supply. And I think that's a study that that should some institutions should take a hard look at. And I think that once we get that understanding of having financial partnership, things will change. For example, I think we can end a lot of the police brutality right now towards black and brown folks today by having life insurance. Because if black folks had how we design our policies, and we have a concept that we call human life value, and human life value is the human economic replacement value of your money to your family. If black folks had those kind of policies set up, and when police officers killed us, the insurance companies will be calling those chiefs of police and in a very different having very different conversations, because it will be affecting their bottom line. So a lot of times we don't have that financial partnership that's looking out on our interests. So that's why we're catching hell financially the way that we are. I'm just going to leave that at that.
Fair enough. Now, so like Queen asks,
How much
how
money can
much
be borrowed
money
against
can
the
you
policy?
borrow? Yeah.
With how much money you can borrow against the policy, and what is the criteria for doing so? This is the part that I like to talk about the most, because if you put, let's say, over the course of the years, you put $100,000 in, now your policy has $100,000 worth of cash value. A lot of the companies will let you go up to 95% of that cash value that you have access to, and what we say that you can borrow from your the life insurance company. They will let you leverage 90 to 95% of that cash that you can have access to. And here's the more important part: the life insurance, when they give you a loan, they don't do a credit check, they don't ask you to fill out no application, they don't ask you what your debt to income ratios are, they don't
Mm.
even ask you to have a repayment schedule,
Wow.
because they know that you got that leverage in your life insurance that they are guaranteed to get their money back. So the insurance companies don't put no restrictions on you having access to the cash that you've already built into your policy that they partner with you to help build. They have no issues with turning around and saying, we'll give you a low interest loan that you could go and take that money and go buy another asset. And I want to keep stressing that: buy another asset, because that asset that you're going to be utilizing oftentimes is going to provide you more interest what the life insurance company is charging you. And so now you have built a system where you're earning money in more than one place. You're earning money in the life insurance, and you're earning money in the asset that you just purchased. So now that your dollar is getting two sources of income potential.
Wow.
That's how you start the road to building indestructible wealth.
Hmm. So you mean all these years, most black people will simply get life insurance for burial?
Because that's what the lie that they taught us.
Wow.
Life insurance
Okay.
is for when you're dead. Says who? One of the most
Hmm.
profitable families that we study have been utilizing life insurance and banking for over 100 years. Every year we come to New York City to go skating around New York, New Year's Eve. Where? In the Rockefeller Center, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rockefeller Family is one of the biggest charitable organizations today. Rockefeller been dead over 100 years. How is his family still profitable, givers, making money every single year? Because they put a system of leveraging life insurance and utilizing in strategies with personal banking from their life insurance to go buy assets. And that's why today they're still the richest family in the world, because they have a financial partner called a life insurance company that's been guaranteeing them and making them money for over 100 years.
Mm.
So if it's good for the goose, shouldn't it be good for the gander?
Yep. I'll
So
say.
my question to folks is, get in where you can fit in. If you see that the strategy works, work it where you can fit it in your budget.
So
Because one thing's for certain and two things for sure. You cannot lose money with cash value life insurance, especially the cash value life insurance that I use. You got any
so
more
I'm
questions?
curious. I'm curious now to know. I'm Joe Schmo watching this somewhere in the United States. I'm excited. I'm like, man, I'm gonna try to scrape up some money and get this started. Do I go right to Chase or whatever Bank of America? Say, hey, I want a whole life insurance. How does that work? Like,
Chase Bank of America ain't gonna give you that. More importantly, you have to work with an agent like myself, a financial advisor, an insurance specialist like myself, who understand how to put the strategy together for you. Because there's specific companies that we want to utilize, which are mutual. You want to make sure that you have a conversation, that you are on the path of utilizing the life insurance for wealth building. So that agent should be able to go through specific questions with you to get a specific strategy for you, because it's not a cookie cutter kind of thing. And
mm-hmm.
that's where agents like myself who are skilled in this are very important and very valuable in helping you to put together this strategy, because this strategy is not for the, as the old folks would say, the faint of heart. You have to make sure that you are going to fund this properly over a period of time, and that you understand how to utilize the cash value for wealth building. It is not for you to do some of the things that I've seen promoted on social media for building wealth. So we want to make sure that you are in alignment for making sure you get the maximization of what this strategy provides for you.
Thank you for that clarification, because I've gone on YouTube. I seen the brothers. They're like, oh yeah, you did this life insurance, you build this money. I just got this beautiful new car, and I'm like, wow. So that it's flashy, but that car ain't gonna make you no money. You just lost $2,000 to $4,000 when you drove it off the lot. So the fact that you said it's really supposed to be a strategy for you to feed something that's an investment or asset makes a
Yes.
lot of sense to me.
And
You
in
know, I was
some
wondering.
occasions, we utilize the build the life insurance to pay off debt as well, like credit card debt. We utilize it sometimes to pay off car debt because we can leverage the interest rate that the life insurance company is charging from the interest that you're paying to these companies that are charging you a lot of times more interest. So in some strategies, we do utilize it to do other things than buying assets, and we utilize it to do debt consolidation as well. And that's why it's important that you work with someone who is skilled in strategy. This is a strategy play. This is not I'm gonna put 25, $50 a month into a plan play. This is not that. And I don't want to mislead the audience that you have to look at this like an ATM machine. The more deposits that you can put in translates to more withdrawals you can take out.
Okay, now you've been doing this for close to 30 years. We have
26.
you, yes, sir. We have you on the broadcast. It's only right to say, do you provide this service? How do people get in touch with you, or if they want to start such a service?
Yes, I'm licensed in almost every state in the United States. There are a few states that I don't work with people, um, but for the most part, I am available in every state. You can always go visit and learn more about me and what I'm trying to build. I'm on a mission right now of building a community of cash value wealth builders where we are leveraging life insurance to buy assets that produce passive income. And I'm building a community to get 5,000 strong. And if I build a community, if I'm successful in building this community of 5,000 strong over the next 5 years, I believe that we would have the resources and the power to replace over $1 billion in wealth into our families. I'm sorry, $1 trillion. I meant to say a trillion, not a billion.
Mm.
So that's what the goal is. And the goal is to uh, um, um, develop these strategies to build, as I said before, indestructible wealth. And I think that is like a mind shift that I would like a lot of us to be on, to say I'm building indestructible wealth because um, the good word that I read that I believe says that a good man, a good woman leaves an inheritance to their kids' kids. So I want to be a vessel in providing the right strategies that people who believe, as I believe, that a good inheritance is worth leaving to your kids and your kids' kids can have the proper strategies to accomplish that and have fun in the process of doing it. My website is www.more, like my last name, Moore strategy, strategY.com, morestrategy.com, because you can go find information on me and what we believe. And if you want to work with me, is a opportunity that you can schedule a free discovery call right from the website by clicking on the box there, and it will take you to a link where you can set up a time and we can have a conversation to see if we are a fit. I don't work with everyone because everyone is not about building wealth, and I don't want to waste my time with people who are not. So I say that you can follow me in all social channels at Jeff the Wealth Builder. Um, and I do a lot of education and I do a lot of teaching on social media platforms. One of the biggest lessons that my mom gave me, and I just want to back up a little bit because I'm the youngest of 8 kids. I'm the first one to graduate from college. I did a lot of firsts in my family, and I'm so proud of where I am right now, being a product of a mother and father from a fifth and seventh grade education. But
Mm.
they might not have had a lot of formal education, but they was wise and wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom used to always tell me, when you understand what's going on, son, you will know what to do. So a lot of the ways, the way that I get down right now is that I try to get people to understand what's going on with their money, because I'm confident that once they understand what's going on with their money, they will know what to do. So that way I can continue to keep my mother legacy and my father's legacy alive through me because of the wisdom that they've given me, and that's what's motivated me to continue to move and to build this thing that's going to hopefully and prayerfully outlive me.
Well, let me say, God bless your parents. They made a good foundation. You always got to go back to the root. So we give thanks and praise to the Most High for your parents, and certainly for you as well. We're coming upon 13 minutes left, family. I told y'all to have questions ready, but the Queen has been very good about putting up some good questions. I've tried to fill in. You know where to learn more. Jeff is all over Instagram. He's all over YouTube. He's known as Jeff Moore, his name, but he's also known as Jeff the Wealth Builder. And we have his website here if you want to actually get into business using him as your agent, so to speak. And I'm curious to know, you mentioned that wealth could change the whole equation as it relates to police brutality. But I'm also thinking, and I want to see what you think about this, politically. Like politically, couldn't wealth kind of impact us politically in terms of the party politics?
I would say it depends. Because when you look at politics, I call it politics. Because the lobbyists really run the country, not the politicians. Politicians only do what the lobbyists tell them to do. So he who has the most money makes the rules in the system that we live in. So what I'm saying is that we have to have some financial partners that have big financial lobbyists, that they pay big monies to lobbyists to get things more favorable for them. So I think that is a strategy that we should be utilizing as it relates to money, is to have a financial partner. Can you remember any time in your life that Black folks had a financial partner?
No, I only remember Black folks having financial predators.
The conversation is different when you have financial partnership, because now that partner is saying, how can we provide more value to you that you can have more partnership with me? Translation, how could what could we do to help you to give us some more money?
Right. Mm-hmm.
But I tell you one thing, it'd be a very uncomfortable conversation that police chiefs all over the world, all over the United States will have, that when insurance CEOs are calling them saying you are messing up our money, that's going to be a very uncomfortable conversation that will initiate financial change within the departments. Because now there's money available to hire the best lawyers. There's money available to have the best lobbyists. You got to understand how this system is laid down and played. And it's a very non-traditional approach to ending a lot of these things that we have. But I believe that Black folks need financial partnerships.
Okay, and we're coming down to like 9 minutes. I wanted to know. So I just want to say some things. You tell me I want to kind of summarize some of what you said. You tell me if I'm right or wrong. So first of all, you're saying you want to look at a whole life insurance.
And a whole life insurance, let me be very clear, because there are a lot of people selling products masquerade as whole life that is not whole life. Whole life insurance is when you have a mutual company that pays you dividends and give you guaranteed interest. That's the whole life insurance I'm talking about, because that is the only life insurance product that have been tested. And that's the key word, tested. That is the only financial product that has never lost any of its policyholders any money. So that is the place that we want to have our partnership with. That is the only institution during World War I, World War II, the Korean War, the Iraqi War, Y2K, the stock collapse of 1929, the stock collapse of 2007. And every time that there's been financial trauma in the economy, these companies have paid and made money and gave dividends. So that's who we want to partner with when we're using life insurance as a personal bank. Dividend paying, guaranteed interest, whole life insurance from a mutual company. That's the name of the game.
Also, you said this is not for people who's trying to trick and floss. This is not, get a nice car. This is for people who are trying to have seed money to educate themselves formally, maybe to put into a business for
Buy
assets,
some
correct?
real estate, become their own peer lending, become their own bank, buy stocks, putting money in things that are going to appreciate and not depreciate.
And if you could reiterate this for people who may have missed it, you said when you have this set up for yourself and you want to take money out, the bank doesn't ask you about your credit score. You don't have to fill out
The insurance
forms.
company, the insurance company, not the bank.
The insurance
The
company, I'm
insurance company.
sorry, right?
Insurance companies don't ask you for no paperwork. It's as easy as you calling them up and asking them that you want to get a loan, and they're looking at the money that's in your account and assessing what is the maximum if they're going to give it to you based on the money that's in that account. And I use an example of $100,000, and as that's like the life insurance company saying you got a guaranteed loan for $95,000, no questions asked.
Okay. All right. I don't know if there's any other. Yes, you going to say something? You going to say something, Jeff?
I was going to say, just get started. Get into a place where you can get started with a plan. One of the things I wanted to go over a little bit more and talk about some of the benefits that life insurance provides, because it's not what it is, it's what it does. And one of the things that it does, I want to reiterate, is that it gives you an opportunity to have a tax deferral account that's going to grow money uninterrupted for the rest of your life. No taxes will ever come out of that money. No fees will ever come out of that money. That money is going to grow and grow and grow. We love to have compound interest, but one of the things I like to say, what's better than compound interest is uninterrupted compound interest. And life insurance, cash value life insurance, affords you the opportunity to do that. Another thing is that you get guaranteed growth every year you own that policy. As long as you're paying your premiums, you're going to get a guaranteed interest rate. And when the life insurance companies make money, and most of these insurance companies are masters at making money, they're going to give you a dividend. And that dividend is going to go into your account, and it's going to help your cash value grow. And not only that, it will help your death benefit to grow as well. So you are providing and obtaining more leverage every year that the insurance company provides you with a dividend and guaranteed interest. So that money is going to grow guaranteed all the time. One of the biggest things that I didn't talk about tonight was the money that grows in those accounts are protected from creditors. So creditors cannot come in and sue and get money from the monies that is in your cash value life insurance contract. In most states, it is protected from lawsuits. So that's another reason why rich people like to pimp policies out. And as I said, they pimp policies out because they have access to money that's going to grow every year, that's going to be protected, that is going to put them in a position to buy assets that's going to produce passive income. Another thing I wanted to highlight for families who have kids and they're looking to put money away for college. One of the benefits is that the monies that's growing in this cash value life insurance flies under the radar for financial aid calculations. So they don't get a chance to see how much money you have built into those cash value accounts because it's not required to put on the FAFSA form. So you are not going to be prohibiting your kid from getting financial aid, or more importantly, scholarships, like when you have a 529 plan, than if you had the life insurance. Don't penalize your kids. for building money and stop them from getting access to uh, 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 um, scholarships and grants because you have to put that money down in that 529 monies that you had in that 529 plan, and that can stop them from getting scholarships and grants because the colleges say, well, you don't need scholarships and grants because you built all this money here in this 529 plan, so you have to use that. So that's one of the things I wanted to highlight for families who have small kids. And more importantly, when you setting up a life insurance contract, make sure you a lot of times we start with term insurance when we set these life insurance up because of this fact, and it's called human life value. We want to make sure that our life insurance is set up to replace income to the families, because a lot of times when black folks die, we go through a double death. We got to go through the emotional ramification of just losing a loved one. And then right after the emotional ramifications of losing a loved one, now we have to deal with the financial death because that person's income is not coming into the family anymore. So we want to make sure that we structure our policies with human life value. And that is the human economic replacement of money that that individual have to the family. And that's the one of the biggest things that is plaguing black communities today, is that there is no income replacement to the families when we lose a breadwinner.
Hmm. Man, I have to tell you, I have learned. I learned a lot in our previous phone conversation. I learned a lot now. So, if a person wants to start this with you or with someone else, what is that? What is your title? What is your they need? What type of agent would that be called?
I like to call myself, I'm a financial advisor and strategist. You gotta make sure you have a person that can execute on the strategy, because, like I said, it's not what this life insurance is, it's what it does. And you want to make sure you have someone well versed in putting together a strategy to help you, because this is not cookie cutter. This ain't something that's going to say, oh, it's going to work for Brenda, and then it's going to be the same thing that's going to work for Tom, because Brenda and Tom's goals, dreams, desires, and income is all different. So you want to make sure you have someone that understands that process and be able to ask you the right questions to tap into what you're trying to accomplish while you're on your wealth building journey. And more importantly, I want people to tap in to the cash value wealth builders community so that they can learn how to do these strategies so that they can be more informed. It used to be a clothing provider. I think the company name was Sims. They went out of business a long time ago, but they was around for over 100 years. And Sims' motto was, "An educated consumer is our best buyer." And I
I
like to say
remember
the
that.
same thing, that when you understand what's going on with your money, you're going to know what to do, and you're going to know where to put your money to help you, especially if you're on a mission to use your money to build wealth, not only for you, but for future generations.
Hey man, brother Jeff, we really, really appreciate that. Now you mentioned to me that there was a conference.
Yes, I'm doing a conference in Atlanta, Georgia. That's where I'm in right now. We're finalizing the final touches for the conference that we're having November 1st and 2nd. If people, I'll give you another website that they can go to. Is www.cashvaluewealthbuilders, and that's Cash Value Wealth Builders. If they go to that website, they can find a lot of information of what we're doing with the conference. We're having speakers that have signed on. More speakers are going to be announced, and it's going to be a 2 day festive wealth building, education, teaching, having fun, meeting people, meeting some people that you can identify and grow with and learn with in a community that's safe, that's going to provide you with information and education to give you the empowerment that you need, that you can live the life that you've imagined on your terms. And more importantly, set up a system to fund the things that you are passionate about. That's what we're doing at the 2 day conference, Cash Value Wealth Builders. And for as we build and launch this out, hopefully you'll bring me back on the platform and I can talk more specifically about the conference and give more details. And hopefully you guys will join us in Atlanta in November.
Absolutely, brother Jeff. We want to thank you, man, for your time. We're going to definitely have you back on if your time and energy permits. And thank you for the information.
I can talk about this all day and all night.
That's good.
I'm just surprised that an hour has went by so long. But if anybody have any other questions, I'll be happy to stay on for a little bit longer. If you have any other questions that people didn't need to get a chance to answer, I'll do that.
Yes. If there are any other questions, we're putting that call out once again. I asked most of the stuff, so you need a financial advisor who specifically knows how to structure a whole life insurance contract that's customized to what you want and what you need. I know that's one thing.
That's a good way to sum it up. Yes.
Okay. And so that's not something you get through the bank. That's something you go to the advisor.
Yes, an advisor.
Correct.
You want to make sure you're with a independent advisor as well. You don't want to have an advisor that only represents one company. So I'm an independent advisor. So I represent a multitude of companies because I find companies that align with my prospective clients' strategy. Because all companies are not created the same. There's some ways that you could do things that with one company that you can't do with others. So we want to make sure we position our clients with the best financial partner to help them to achieve their financial objective.
Okay. Quinn says, where's the conference? It's in Atlanta, where he is now, and it's going to be in November. I put up people who are interested. It's a 2-day conference. I put up a website where you can find out more about it. Presumably, you can also register as well. That's up now.
Yes.
www Cash Value Wealth Builders.
And if all people who are interested in tapping in, we're doing an early bird pricing for a conference ticket. And that conference ticket is going to come with a lot of goodies. We're going to make sure that you get the right information. We're going to make sure that you get some food in your belly to make sure that it'll be a pleasurable experience. And we're going to put you in a great environment that's going to foster you to be able to learn. So those are going to be the good things. And you're going to meet some dynamic people. People are going to be coming all over from the United States to attend this conference. So make sure you come here and meet some new relationships, because that is one of the best things that you can put your money into, getting out and making a new relationship, especially to have someone that can help you on your wealth building journey. Because we have a special community where you can come in and ask questions and get the information that you need, so you can be more empowered to do the things that you're trying to do with your money.
Definitely, man. Wealth of information. Last call, but it's not for alcohol. Is this cause for being a financial and wealth building know-it-all? Is the last call for that. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make sure that we position ourselves for power. Here at Harlem Liberation School, we talk about political power, cultural power, historical power. But guess what? In the 21st century, you're going to need some food, clothing, shelter, education. You need money. We got to talk about financial power as well. So I want to make sure that we have an opportunity for any more questions. And yes, we will promote your event, Brother Jeff. If you give us, let's say, your digital flyers or anything like that, we will certainly put it up.
I'll do something special for you. We'll talk offline, okay?
Absolutely, absolutely. Any other questions, family, for our
I would just like to say thank you for the opportunity to be of service. And I think that it is so important that we start to get the right information out to the communities that we serve. And one of the things I want to leave you guys with, it is so important just to follow some basic financial fundamentals, like save money before you do anything else. Because if you save money before you spend money, you will always have money. And one of the things I love about cash value life insurance is that it is a forced savings. So savings is one of the biggest things that is crippling our communities right now, because we all have great ideas. We all have great business ideas. We all have great ideas on what we can do to build wealth and buy properties and apartment homes and apartments and apartment complexes and all these different things that we can do to build wealth. And one of the things that's always getting in the way of the process is having the access to the money to do the things that we want to do. So one of the reasons why I'm such a big fan of cash value life insurance, it is a forced savings. It forces you to save money before you spend money. And one thing's for certain, and two things for sure: if you have money, your money will always save you if you got into a crisis. So that's the first thing. Please, folks, get in control of your money. Start to get your money into places where you are in control of your money and your money is not in control of you. And what I mean is that make sure that you have a budget, that you are going through your budget and identifying where areas where you are overspending and correct that. And let's get back to the place where we're living below our means. That when we get money coming in, we saving money, and when we pay all of our bills and have all of our obligations, there's some money left over. So it's just to start to change the narrative of what we're doing with our money so we can be more in control of our money.
Well, look here, brother. You have no quarrel from me, as Muhammad Ali would have said. That's the way I have no quarrel. You ain't got no quarrel with me, brother. It's right and exact. It's hearkening us back to what our elders used to teach. And you read this W.B. Du Bois book. He talks about all these poor black folk putting little bits of money and owning land and building churches and schools. And here we are with all this, and we financially strapped. So yeah, it sounds like getting back to some hardcore fundamentals, man. And we
It's a
appreciate
reason.
you.
It's a
Yeah,
reason why they call them hardcore fundamentals, right? Them hardcore fundamentals will never fail you. The problem is we are so distracted with our monies that we are missing the fundamental.
listen, I want to say this. Check our brother out. We giving you his how he's known on internet. We're giving you his website. We're giving you the information about the 2-day conference. You can see him on Instagram. He's all over YouTube. Check him out. Support the brother.
They can
And
come buy my book. My Cash Value is King. They can get it off of Amazon. It gives a complete breakdown of life insurance where you can understand
excellent.
how powerful of a product that it is. It gives you some money management. My proprietary money management system is in that book. The book, the money that when the financial crash of 2007 happened, when I had the great discovery, and I lost a lot of money in 2007. I give the strategy in that book on how I rebuilt my finances in a very simple and easy way. So anyone who wants to learn more about cash value life insurance, they can go pick up that book. It's called My Cash Value is King, and they can go and get it off of Amazon. And I would love for you to check it out. And I would love for you to tap into the community. I would love for you to be in a position where you start to change the narrative of how we view money. And I would love for you to be in a position that you put a guaranteed money system in your family right now to create generational wealth. And more importantly, a system of money that every family member will be able to participate off of for the rest of their lives. And for that, sir, I thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to your platform. I hope your audience don't consider it robbery that they spent the last hour and 10 minutes with me. And I thank you again for this opportunity and have a great night.
Thank you, good brother. Take care. God bless. And let's get this paper. And let's use it wisely. I'm with
That's
that.
right. We building wealth over
Absolutely.
here.
Absolutely, family. Before we leave, I see a sister Mila Renee's in the building. My good brother Moon, Commander Moon, Takala Hotep of the Anubis Militia in Houston. Shout out to you protecting the people. Shout out to you, my brother, for the work you're doing, and my sister. And I want to leave y'all with a good message, family. And this is one of the messages. I got two for you. One is The other message is this. I was jamming to the beat right there. Here's the other. Hey, you. I know you digging Harlem Liberation School. All those interviews and those mini documentaries. Stop playing. You know Harlem Liberation School is fire. So what you need to do right now, if you're watching on YouTube, is click that red subscribe button. Share the video. Add your comments and click the notification bell. Brother Jeff, once again, thank you, good brother. Peace and Black Power, family. You know what we say, when we get knowledge and we organize and we pool our resources and we overcome limiting thinking and self-defeating behavior, we will win. Peace, y'all. Have a good evening.